We're gonna try and one-shot take this. So yesterday I decided to skip some heats and, they mostly just go to quarters and some go to semis. It definitely was because I had some stomach issues and spent all day in bed watching on my phone. Came all the way to Belgrade to watch my phone. While I was watching, someone definitely needs to throw a LUT on that side view launch. It's looking very like log curve-ish. Let's get into it. So for the men's singles, top two went to quarters. The first race of the day was won by the Olympic champion, Stefanos Natuskas. Sick. Trevor Jones knocked Borsch into reps. The Japanese and Serbian won their heat, which is great. One of the AIN athletes, Zalati, and a former lightweight, Tim Breeze, won their heats. Van Dorp over McIntosh. Dude, the Dutch scullers are insane. They're so big and so fast. Severi with the fastest time of the day, cruised ahead of Eskil, and the Paraguayan showed us what fly and die really meant. Like during the live stream, he just like really fell off after 1,000. And then we've got the Lithuanian over Demir Martin, but Quinton Antonginelli, can never say his last name right, had a great race. Yeah, Brooks. Women's singles, top three went to quarters. It was an awesome open heat, and Prokatsin got relegated to the reps, so that's the big thing there. So the rowers from down under had a really great race. Emma Twigg and Rigney just looking dominant as ever. Then we had the Bulgarian, Austrian, and Romanian crushing theirs. And then Lobnig back in the single, so she had a great race. Kara and Klimovic wrapping up their spots, which is awesome, with Aurelia Maxima, the U23 beast with her Macon blades. She was on my flight over. They all did really solid. And then of course the hometown favorite crushing it. So for the men's light singles, top four went to quarters. Algeria and Poland with a freaking great race to the line. Unfortunate to see Jake McCarthy go to the reps. So he's been fighting back a ton from injury, so it's always good to see him out there. Also, the Japanese scullers are going absolutely ham. They're so fast. It's so sick to see. So, and then heat three, Sam had a slow start, but then just cruised through everybody and had a great race to like the end, and with the Swiss single sculler, won World Cup 3. So that's a great race for Sam, and I'm really hyped for him. So hopefully that means good things leading up to it. In the next heat, the Spanish and the AIN rowers went off and won. Amel Yunus, my friend, went off to reps. At this point, Jean, the president of FISA, well, I guess World Rowing, was on commentating, so he had a little speech about AIN athletes and how they go through a background check and just making sure they weren't part of the war efforts and all that stuff. And they also go through additional anti-doping. And then Neil Torres won on his birthday, which is lovely. We love that for him. And then Gene went on to talk about the Fairness Committee that adapts to conditions, so they have actually decided to switch up the racing schedule for today slightly in favor of getting everything done earlier for some weather that's probably going to happen later. We move on to the women's light singles. Top two A and B semis. The Angola sculler was only 15 in the first heat, which is crazy. Martin Cross getting corrected about the Dutch funding as the Dutch sculler went and crushed everybody, which is really funny. In heat two, Kenny Lechuga, who has the most followers on Instagram for any rower, I think, had an insane final 500, overtaking everybody and just winning her heat with the pole over Livy Bates from GB. So that was pretty big. Round three, Sophia Lewis crushing it. Can't spell Wintech without win. And then heat four, we had Siobhan and Groningen. Siobhan's debuted back in 2007, so she's taken a couple years off and is now back better than ever, seems like. So it's pretty fun to follow her progression through the many years of racing that she has under her belt. Then we go to the men's light double. So it was top four to quarters, and most people were using the Comp 2 blades, the C2 Comp blades. There we go. Classic Fitton and Paul ran train. Everybody amazed at Paul's technique. New Zealand, Matt Dunham and his partner always staying up at a 40, so that was funny. The Italians like gapped the field. Meanwhile, the US double of Zach and Jimmy, that I've been following all the way back since February 2021, had a fantastic race. Went off to a slow start, so I was a little worried, but then they just like cruised back and just got second. So really exciting for them. Next heat had like all Hispanics with some Portuguese rower, so it was like everybody speaks Spanish and Portuguese. Then in heat 4 we had some crazy shifts. We had some lower rates around the board, and then they all like kicked it up. The French double that had beat the Irish double at World Cup 3, Hugo Butcheron, is no longer in that boat, and it does seem like they're a little bit slower, so that's what Martin Cross was commentating about. Niels and the Belgian double, late double, came back from a fantastic length down, a couple lengths down, so good to see them like get through to quarters, but you know, made it a little bit tough for themselves. Now I'm about to light back up because the cloud's gone. And then we had a fantastic race between the Swiss and Norwegians. The Polish went out hard but fell off, and the Aussies overtook them for the last qualifier spot. So that was it for the men's light doubles. And then we go on to the men's pairs. We've got top 4 to the quarters. In the first heat, we had the Latvian brothers, the Stankunis brothers. Yeah, they're like so young, so lanky, so fun to watch when they row because it just looks crazy. They went out pretty hard and then they got overtaken, but it was fun to watch. The New Zealand just like cruised through, but the Swiss, man, the Swiss are just so clean. They're so fast. In the next heat, we had the Irish lads have a great race. Ross and Nathan just like got out front, and stayed in front of the Spanish, who, pretty freaking fast. So that's a great result for them. I think that if they can continue that, maybe Olympic qualification on the line, should be sweet. Looks like there's something there. Also, like of note, John Smith back in the pair. Just, man has been like all over the place. He was in the lightweight 4 in London. I forget what he was in Rio, or if he was in Rio. He's just like heavyweight boats. He qualified at FOQR in 2021, like had done the pair the 2 years before and qualified. He's just so fast, moves boats so well. Former lightweights. Then we had obviously the Imperious pair of Ollie and Tom. You should go watch Norden Chatik's video from last year before Euro Champs, because it is awesome. The Danish and Italians racing really well, so the men's pair is like heating up. Should be fun. Then obviously we had the insanely fast Romanian pair, who decided not to double up and are just focusing on the pair this year. So they were in the 8 last year, I think. But then we had Evan and Bill from the US, insane, going second, absolutely taking it to the Romanians. I'm super happy for them. It was a late combination. They just put it all out on the line, like really went off hard, and were able to maintain speed, which is huge. So, and then round 5, we had the Serbians and Australians just battling all the way down the track. A lot of good hometown boats happening here in Serbia. And then the final event of the day, we had the men's doubles. So top 4 went to quarters. The Romanians won, but also they were using comp blades, not just a lightweight thing. And round 2, we had the Netherlands scullers, who are just so freaking fast. People can like swap into the single, then they go into the quad, and then you take someone else out and they can go and win too. It's just, they're so fast. Round 3, the Chinese double just built throughout the race to take the win off of the Italians. Round 4, heat 4, I thought this would be like the death heat, with a good amount of good boats in it. But come on, go on Soren and Ben from the US, like within a second of the Dutch in the 1K. And then the Irish surged through the French in the second half, so really fun to watch. And then the final race of the day, the Norwegians really took it to the Sinkovic brothers of Croatia. And then my man Adrian in his double, started rowing right after college. Like, he qualified for quarters, straight to quarters, no reps for him. And super hyped for him in his double from South Africa. So it's just been a good first day of racing. Lots of small boats. We're getting some bigger boats today. Should be fun. So we finished off the day with some scheduling updates thanks to potential weather tomorrow. All the preliminary races have been moved to Tuesday, and the schedule has been compressed with 5-minute centers. Thank goodness I'm not here until 6 o'clock at night. All right, that's pretty much it. That's your quick update. Sorry, I'm a one-man band here, so I missed all of yesterday, unfortunately. But, it happens. So, hope you guys enjoyed racing. It was fun to watch on the live stream in the right time zone, but unfortunately, I flew all the way to Belgrade to watch the live stream. It happens. See you tomorrow, later today.